A computer as an electronic device capable of performing commands. The basic commands that a computer performs are input, which is known as getting data, output, which displays the result, storage, and performance of arithmetic and logical operations. There are two main components of a computer system. First one is hardware and then software. What is a hardware? Major hardware components include the central processing unit, which is known as CPU, main memory, or also called random access memory (RAM), input-output devices, and secondary storage. Some examples of input devices are keyboard, mouse, and storage secondary storage. Examples of output devices are screen, printer, secondary storage. What is processing unit? And memory. The central processing unit is the brain of computer and the most expensive piece of hardware in a computer. The more powerful the CPU, the faster the computer. Arithmetic and logical operations are carried out inside the computer. Main memory or random access memory is connected directly to the CPU. All programs must be loaded into main memory before they can execute. Similarly, all data must be brought into main memory before a program can manipulate it. When computer is turned off, everything in main memory is lost. Main memory is an ordered sequence of cells called memory cells. Each cell has a unique location in main memory called the address of the cell. These addresses help you access information stored in the cell. What is secondary storage? Because programs and data must be loaded into main memory before processing and because everything in main memory is lost when computer is turned off. Information stored in main memory must be saved in some other device for permanent storage. The device that stores information permanently, unless the device becomes unusable or you change information by rewriting it, is called secondary storage. To be able to transfer information from main memory to secondary storage, these components must be directly connected to each other. Examples of secondary storage are hard disk, flash drives, and CD-ROMs. Input-output devices. For a computer to perform a useful task, it must be able to take in data and programs and display the result of calculations. The devices that feed data and program into computer are called input devices. The keyboard, mouse, scanner, camera, and secondary storage are examples of input devices. The devices that the computer uses to display results are called output devices. The examples of output devices are monitor, printer, secondary storage, and What is a software? Software are programs written to perform specific tasks. For example, word processors are programs that you use to write letters, papers, and even books. All software are written in programming languages. There are two types of programs: system programs and application programs. System programs control the computer. The system program that loads first when you turn on your computer is called operating system. Without an operating system, the computer is useless. Operating system handles the overall activity of the computer and provides services. Some of these services include memory management, input-output activities, and storage management. The operating system has a special program that organizes secondary storage so that you can conveniently access information. Some well-known operating systems are Windows 10, macOS, Linux, and Android. Application program perform a specific task. Word processors, spreadsheet, and games are examples of application programs. The operating system is the program that runs application. Language of a computer. A computer is an electronic device. Electric signals are used inside the computer to process information. There are two types of electrical signals: analog and digital. Analog signals are continuously varying continuous waves, form used to represent such things as sounds. Audio tapes, for example, store data is analog signals. Digital signal represent information with a sequence of zeros and ones. A zero represents a low voltage and one represents a high voltage. Digital signals are more reliable carriers of information than analog signals and can be copied from one device to another with exact precision. You might have noticed that when you make a copy of an audio tape, the sound quality of copy is not as good as the original tape. On other hand, when you copy a CD, the copy is the same as the original. Computers use digital signals because digital signals are processed inside a computer. The language of computer is called machine language. Is a sequence of 0 and 1. The digit 0 or 1 is called a binary digit or a bit. Sometimes a sequence of 0 and 1 is referred to as a binary code or a binary number. A bit. A binary digit 0 or 1 is known as a bit. A sequence of 8 bits is called a byte. Here's the binary units. Every letter, number, or special symbol on your computer is encoded as a sequence of bits, each having a unique representation. The most commonly used encoding scheme on personal computer is 7-bit, which is known as American Standard Code for Information Interchange. The American Standard Code of Information Interchange dataset consists of 128 characters numbered 0 through 127. In this dataset, the position of first character is 0, the position of second character is 1, and so on. In this scheme, A is encoded as a binary number 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. In fact, A is the 66th character in the scheme, but its position is 65 because the position of the first character is 0. Inside the computer, every character is represented as a sequence of 8 bits, that is as a byte. Now the 8-byte binary representation of 65 is 0 1 0 0 0 0 1. Note that we added 0 to the left of the 7-bit representation of 65 to convert it into 8-bit representation. Similarly, we add 10 to the binary value 51 to get its 8-bit binary representation, which is 00110011. Evaluation of programming language. Most basic language of a computer, the machine language, provides program instructions in bits. Even though most computers perform some kind of operations, even though most computers perform the same kind of operations, the designer of the computer may have chosen different set of binary code to perform the operation. Therefore, the machine language of one machine is not necessarily the same as the machine language of another machine. The only consistency among computers is that in modern computers, all data is stored and manipulated as binary codes. Early computers were programmed in machine language to see how instructions were written in the machine language. Assembler: a program that translates a program written in assembly language into an equivalent program in machine language. Moving from machine language to assembly language made programming easier, but a programmer was still forced to think in terms of individual machine instructions. The next step toward making program easier was to device high-level language that were close to natural language such as English, French, German, and Spanish. Basics, Fortran, COBOL, C, C++, Java, Python are all high-level languages. The instructions written in C++ is much easier to understand and is self-explanatory to a novice user who is familiar with basic arithmetics, as in the case of assembly language. However, the computer cannot directly execute instructions written in high-level language. To execute on a computer, these C++ instructions first need to be translated into machine language. A program called a compiler translates instructions written in high-level languages into machine code. Compiler is a program that translates instructions written in high-level language into the equivalent machine language. These are the examples of the C++ program. Introduction to computer system. At its core, a computer is an electronic device that processes data and performs tasks according to provided instructions. A computer system comprises both hardware and software working in tandem. Without software, computer is useless. अच्छा तो कंप्यूटर है क्या? कंप्यूटर एक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइस है जिसे हम जो हदायत देते हैं वो उसको प्रोसेस करता है और फिर उसे यूज़फुल आउटपुट में कन्वर्ट करता है। कंप्यूटर के जो दो मेन पार्ट्स हैं वो इसके हार्डवेयर और सॉफ्टवेयर है। कंप्यूटर हार्डवेयर और सॉफ्टवेयर के बिना काम नहीं कर सकता। जिस तरह इंसान के जिस्म में उसकी रूह होती है वैसे ही सिस्टम की रूह जो उसका सॉफ्टवेयर है। ये दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ मिलकर कंप्यूटर को चलाते हैं। कैटेगरीज ऑफ कंप्यूटर कंप्यूटर की तीन मेन कैटेगरी हैं। मेन फ्रेम कंप्यूटर, मिड साइज कंप्यूटर में जो हम नॉर्मली यूज़ करते हैं कंप्यूटर पीसीज वगैरह वो आ जाते हैं और माइक्रो कंप्यूटर्स हैं। माइक्रो कंप्यूटर्स आर लाइक आर एम्बेडेड कंप्यूटर्स। मसलन फॉर एग्जांपल हमारी स्मार्ट वॉचेस में जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स होती हैं, जो एम्बेडेड चिप्स होती हैं, माइक्रो कंट्रोलर्स। Key elements of a computer system are hardware, software and central processing unit जिसे हम CPU कहते हैं, main memory, secondary storage, input output devices, central processing unit and memory. A CPU is the brain of computer responsible for executing instructions. It consists of following components: control unit. Control unit fetches and decodes instruction, controls the flow of information and manages internal CPU components. Program counter point to the next instructions to be executed. Instruction register holds the instruction currently being executed. Arithmetic logic units performs arithmetic and logical operations. Primary and secondary memory. Memory is essential for storing data and instruction. Primary memory or main memory is directly connected to the CPU. Program must be loaded into main memory before execution. Main memory includes RAM, random access memory. Random access memory is a volatile memory. A volatile memory is that loses data when the power is turned off. अगर नॉन वोलाटाइल मेमोरी वो होती है अगर कंप्यूटर अचानक बंद हो जाए या वोलाटाइल मेमोरी वो मेमोरी होती है अगर कंप्यूटर बंद हो जाए तो ये लॉस्ट हो जाती है। एंड रोम ROM is a non-volatile memory. Non-volatile memory that retains its data even when power is off. Secondary memory is non-volatile storage that permanently stores data. Example like hard disk, flash drive, floppy disk, CD, DVDs, and USBs are secondary devices, storage devices. Input-output devices. Input devices uh, वो डिवाइसेस होती हैं की मदद से हम कंप्यूटर्स को इंस्ट्रक्शंस देते हैं और आउटपुट वो डिवाइसेस होती हैं जो उन इंस्ट्रक्शंस को प्रोसेस करने के बाद हमें यूज़फुल आउटपुट जो दिखाती हैं वो आउटपुट डिवाइसेस होती हैं। इनपुट डिवाइसेस की एग्जांपल लाइक कीबोर्ड, माउस, स्कैनर, वॉइस रिकॉर्डर, ये सब इनपुट डिवाइसेस हैं जिनकी मदद से हम कंप्यूटर को इंस्ट्रक्शन या हदायत देते हैं। एंड आउटपुट डिवाइसेस आर डिस्प्ले, कंप्यूटर स्क्रीन, प्रिंटर, स्पीकर, जो कि हमें प्रोसेस डाटा को शो करवाते हैं या जिनकी मदद से हम प्रोसेस डाटा को देख सकते हैं। And then software. A software is a set of instructions that enables the computer to perform tasks. It can be categorized into system software and application software. System software manages computer operations. The example of system software is Windows, Linux, etc. Application software are designed for specific tasks like Microsoft Word and Adobe Photoshop. Software is vital in modern technology, driving everything from smartphones to complex computer systems. Computer language. Computer understand digital signals represented by zeros and ones. Early computers were programmed using machine language, consisting of binary commands directly understood by the CPU. Assembly language emerged as more human-readable alternative. The language of computer. When you press A on your keyboard, the computer displays A on the screen. But what is actually stored inside the computer's main memory? When you press A on your uh, keyboard, remember that a computer is an electronic device. Electrical signals are used inside the computer to process information. There are two types of electrical signals, analog and digital. Analog signals are continuously varying continuous waves forms used to represent such things as sound. Audio tapes, for example, store data in analog signals. What are digital signals? Digital signals represent information with a sequence of zeros and ones. A zero represent a low voltage and one represent high voltage. Digital signals are more readable, reliable carriers of information than analog signals and can be copied from one device to another with exact precision. You might have noticed that when you make a copy of an audio tape, the sound quality of the copy is not as good as the original tape. On the other hand, when you copy a CD, the copy is same as the original. Computers use digital signals because digital signals are processed inside the computer. The language of computer called machine language. Machine language is a sequence of which is a sequence of 0 and 1s. The digit 0 and 1 is called a binary digit or a byte. Sometimes a sequence of 0 and 1 is referred to a binary code or a binary number. Binary digit or 1. So here's the table of binary units. We use these in our daily life. You can stop and read this table if you want. Okay, so every letter, every number or a special symbol on your keyboard is encoded as a sequence of bits compiler that translate instructions written in a high level language into the equivalent machine language. Is a assembler, a program that translates a program written in assembly language into an equivalent program in machine language. Moving from machine language to assembly language made programming easier, but a programmer was still forced to think in terms of individual machine instructions. The next step toward making program easier was to develop high-level language that were close to natural language such as English, French, German, Spanish, Basics, C, C++, Java, Python are all high level language. कंप्यूटर प्रोग्राम किस तरह वर्क करता है? सबसे पहले तो हम किसी भी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में एक कोई सिंपल सा प्रोग्राम लिखते हैं। वो प्रोग्राम कंपाइलर प्रोसेस करता है, उसे कंपाइल करता है, उसे बाइनरी डिजिट्स में कन्वर्ट करता है। क्योंकि कंप्यूटर की जो लैंग्वेज है वो बाइनरी में होती है, जिसे ज़ीरो एंड वंस है, तो उसके लिए ये समझना ज़्यादा इजी है। What is compiler? Compiler is a software that converts the source code to the object code. In other words, we can say that it converts the high-level language to machine language. It is necessary to perform this step to make the program executable. This is only because the computer understands only binary language. Problem solving algorithm and pseudocodes. A typical programming task involves a problem solving phase and an implementation phase. In the problem solving phase, an ordered sequence of steps called an algorithm is developed to describe the solution. Pseudocode is an artificial, informal language used to help programmers develop algorithm. For example, an algorithm to determine a student's final grade can be expressed in pseudocodes as the following. Flowchart. Flowchart is a schematic representation of a sequence of operation in an information system or program. It shows the logic of an algorithm, emphasizes individual steps and their interconnection. Flowchart uses symbols. Uh, these are the symbols of a flowchart. An oval represents a start or end point. Arrows shows the line and relationship between the representative shapes. A parallelogram represents input or output. A rectangle represents the process, and a diamond indicates a decision.